Okay. All right. So I know we have some of you that are on the Facebook group.
All
So
right.
you can make comments there. Hi, Kristen. I hope you stick around for the presentation. So last week was a long class, and this one is also going to be a little bit longer than usual. And just to give you a heads up, I was thinking we would be able to complete Fearless in a second class, but we're not going to be able to. So we're going to have a part 3 on this. The part 3 will be a little bit shorter, and we'll be covering other stuff. So we'll be continuing topical uses. We got a lot of topical and aromatic uses in here. So it's really good information, but it's really a deep dive. It's like the Essential Oils 101, and then this one is the deep dive into all the things. So get ready to take notes and we'll get going. Hi, Shelly. All right. Go grab my notes here. Okay, so this week, and I don't know when the next class, the part 3 is going to be because we have Raindrop and 1 and 2 coming up. And so we'll just we'll just fit it in somewhere, but it'll be good. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, so let's do a brief review of what we covered last week. We covered like why you started, right? And the mind shift that starts to happen once you get started with Young Living and just kind of all the natural world. You start to notice toxins everywhere. You start to notice other people's choices and how they really don't think that your choices are normal. And all of that is really just a mind shift. And not everybody's going to get it, but our mission kind of tends to end up being in that place where we're like, we want to help other people to understand because we see them getting sick and getting all the crazy things that we get here as with our American lifestyles, and we want to help them. So the more you learn, the more you'll be able to help them to help yourselves and your family and to help others to make some of those changes and decisions. We also talked about Young Living Seed to Seal Promise, which is what makes Young Living so much different than anything in the world, including other essential oils companies. We were the pioneer in that in essential oils, and it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for the founder and those that worked with Gary Young to get things moving with this. So, and it was really just a whole lot of passion behind making it happen. We talked about some safety tips, and we're going to talk about some other safety tips as we go along in here today. And then we covered a lot of aromatic tips. We covered like straight from the bottle, open it up, breathe it in. We covered hand cupping, which when I was talking about hand cupping, it sounded more topical, but we didn't really cover like when you put the oils in your hands, you can breathe it right out of your hands. And that's a good way to do it. So the hand cupping, you cover your mouth and nose with your hands cupped together and take nice deep breaths. And that is another way for aromatic use. Diffuser jewelry, and I mailed everybody's diffuser jewelry except for one. Karan, I'm going to be mailing yours pretty soon. And then we talked a little about spritzers. I have some bathroom spritzers that I use all the time. So room sprays, you can spray it on linens to make the bed smell good. Put it in the bathroom. My guys were starting to revolt a little bit because they were like, "We don't have spritzers in the bathroom. Can you please make some more?" So, and then we talked a little bit about cleaning and fresheners and how we don't want those nasty air fresheners in our house. So let us continue with aromatic tips. And one of the tips that you might have been like when we left off last week is like, what about diffusers? That's an aromatic use, right? So let's talk about that. Why diffuse all the time? Why diffuser all the time? Okay. We had talked about like how often to diffuse. Well, all day long, all the time, overnight. But why? Well, reason number one is to make your home like a home spa. The ultrasonic frequency in the dewdrop diffuser generates waves at 1.7 million times per second, releasing essential oil molecules into the air to help create a relaxing spa-like atmosphere in your home or office. This is from the Young Living Essential Oils website, and this is the dewdrop diffuser that you see here in the picture. So you're likely savvy on this already because these cool little machines are the start of your starter bundle, right? So who all uses a diffuser? Who all received one? And a lot of people have started with Nicorette. Leslie, you did? Yep. I'm sure, I know Kristen has one. I'm not sure, Shelly and Kim, I'm not sure if you have a diffuser. I know Karan has one. Charlie has one or more. Like we have multiple diffusers. So if you haven't gotten a diffuser, okay, I have to be a little bit tight-lipped on this, but you might want to kind of watch out for some things for next month that Young Living might be sharing about. So you'll want to put diffuser on your list. So why would you want to diffuse in your home all the time? Well, let's break down what the diffuser does. And that's, okay, this is what the diffuser does. This is what Young Living says that it does. So it takes the oil and the water, and it has this ultrasonic frequency that makes it go up into mist. So you have these molecules which are all in the air that you can breathe in. So it's calming. It does a lot of great things. Let's see, Leslie, you have 2 to 3 going all the time. Karan says she has a habit of using the diffuser. Yep. Okay. Okay. Oops. Hold on. Switching between my slides and the presentation here. My notes. There we go. Okay. Reason number 2, it eliminates odors without using synthetic air fresheners, which we talked about last time. Do yourself a favor and go Google the dangers of plugins and air fresheners. Oh my gosh. A diffuser can replace all of that and candles in your home because candles have synthetic fragrances in them that are not good for your body. Here's a quote here by Dr. Andrew Sled. He's a pediatrician that specializes in environmental toxicology. He says it takes only 1 hour of burning a candle to produce the same effect as smoking a single cigarette. Have you ever thought about that? When I started replacing my candles with diffusers, I was like sad. I liked my candles. I liked the light flicker that the candles gave us, and we do have light flicker with a couple of our diffusers. This one right here in the picture is a desert mist diffuser, and it has that candle light setting. So I have mine almost always on candlelight setting. So I have also have the lantern diffuser, which we don't sell anymore, and that one had a candlelight setting on it too. So that's my favorite setting. So research by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency shows that candles release the dirtiest soot, sometimes containing particles of zinc, tin, and lead. So not only do you have a problem with the fragrances that are in there, you have a problem with these metals and the soot and everything that you're breathing in. And then it continues on. It's more dangerous because it doesn't have a filter on it. And this is continuing from what Dr. Sled said up here. It's more dangerous because it doesn't have a filter on it, which removes hundreds of millions of microparticles where a candle doesn't. So cigarettes have a filter. So that he's saying that candles are more dangerous because they don't have something that removes all of those microparticles that you're having to breathe in when you're burning it. He says the soot particles penetrate the deepest parts of the lung and could cause respiratory illness. One of the first steps I made was to ditch the candle in every room and replace them with a diffuser and Young Living oils. That was tough for me as I was a candleaholic. So you might think that you're making a better choice also by like saying, okay, I won't have regular candles, I'm just going to have organic candles. But many of those are dangerous too. You think about swapping out your organic candles for soy candles. I'd also caution you strongly on that because um, you want to get away from soy products as far as away from soy products as possible. And I know that this is a controversial topic, but soy tends to be an anti-nutrient and it's the top hormone disruptor in the world. Soy is in everything and it's completely GMO. I know you can find some non-GMO organic soybeans and stuff like that, but it's all of the processing, like it's in everything. And that's one of the reasons it's causing problems in our health. So soy, you have soy lecithin, you have hydrolyzed soy protein, all kinds of those ingredients in your foods, even in your most chocolate that's in there. So do yourself a favor and go out and find if you like your chocolate, go find Enjoy Life chocolate chips. Those have no soy in them. So if you want some cleaner chocolate. Okay, so going back to continuing with hormone disruptors, they're linked to adverse effects in the human body, including struggles with weight loss. So a lot of us are battling that, right? Soy is planted in the ground after the crops are pulled to replenish the fields. It does the opposite job of the plants. So is this very similar to what, if you participated in the CBD class, remember how he was talking about that hemp um, pulls, okay, wait a minute. It pulls the like toxins out of the soil. Okay, don't quote me on this. I'm not certain about this. I think that soy does something similar, but what it does whenever when you're eating, what it is nutritionally, when you're eating plants, you're getting nutrients from them. But what eating soy does is it pulls nutrients from the body. So if it also contains the toxins from like cleaning up the soil, then you have that on top of it. So here's a wonderful resource that'll give you a little more clarification on soy and some good information. Dr. Kayla Daniel, Kayla Daniel, and for those of you on Zoom, I'll stick this in the chat. The book is called The Whole Soy Story. WHOLE. So let me put this in the chat. And let's see who is in. I know I haven't done a drawing yet. Let me see who's on Facebook Live. I see several people checked in, but it shows one person is viewing. So love for you guys to stick around. Hi, Janya, Leanne, Melissa. That's my cousin. I mean, my aunt. Sorry, Melissa. And Anastasia. Glad y'all are here. I'm gonna do a couple of drawings in a little bit. So getting back to soy, if you must have candles in your home, the only candles that I trust are made of 100% pure beeswax. And we have done that. We've made beeswax candles like for Hanukkah because we burn a lot of candles. So we'll roll up our candles and we'll just use those for our Hanukkah. And on Shabbat for us, like the Sabbath at about sunset on Friday, before sunset, we light a couple of candles. And so those are the better candles, is what we like to use. But secondly, like if you're not burning candles, the second thing would be to use the Desert Mist Diffuser, which is one of my favorites. And because it does have that candlelight flicker, I really like it. Okay. Let's switch the slide here. Okay, reason number 3, safeguard health. So diffusers are another tool to safeguard your family's health instead of the chemicals from the plug-in air fresheners, which we already mentioned several times actually from the other previous presentation, or a candle. Then you're replacing them with essential oil. You swap the toxins for plants. And they're not just any kind of plants either, are they? If you're using lemon oil, for example, that oil alone has constituents that are scientifically shown to support your body's immune system. So you're not tearing your health down, you're boosting your health with this. Have you ever thought about one of those plugins. I know there's like Glade and Febreze and all of that. Have you ever thought about, oh, this is going to boost my health while it makes the house smell good? That's not a connection that we make with our cleaners, right? Hi, Leanne. Okay. She's going to ask about making her own candles. Yep, that's the way to go. Do the beeswax ones. So we also don't think about that when we're cleaning our house, like when we're mopping the floors. Oh, you have that, oh, it smells good, it's clean, but it's also tearing down our immune systems. And we're not thinking by cleaning, it's making me healthier. Like we don't make that connection, but that's what our products do. Like it's like two birds with one stone, right? You're cleaning up and you're boosting your immune system. It's really cool. So all the boosting we can get, right? So this has been a great hack for me. I used to be afraid of telling my kids to clean the bathroom with chemical cleaners because I didn't like them breathing them in or absorbing them into their hands and stuff. But with the thieves cleaners, which includes lemon oil in the blends, I know that they're supporting their immune system while wiping down the toilet, of all things, right? So when it's cleaning time in my house, I call it the support your immune system hour. And the kids they would start cleaning because they knew what that meant. It was time to wipe down the bathrooms. All right. Of course, my kids are grown. My daughter's not here anymore, but my son is, and he is very good at like taking care of the floors. And he cleans up his own bathroom, washes his own clothes. So, he'll be 20 this year. Oh my gosh, I can't even. All right. Reason number 4, humidity. Have you thought about this? It's like you're a pretty little humidifier. So the 4th benefit that's not talked about often with diffusers is humidity. They act as a natural humidifier. The humidified air keeps your skin moisturized and your body feeling fresh and less dry. I have family in New Mexico, and it is just very, very dry there. My daughter's mother-in-law talked about like her hands cracking during the winter and your lips and everything. My lips get a little dry during the winter, but if you have diffusers going a lot, you're adding some humidity to the air, and that helps a lot, especially if you sleep with one on. So there's thousands and thousands of diffuser recipes out there. You've seen them in Strictly EO, right? But I'll give you a few that you're really going to love. All right. Let me see if I think I missed a quote. I did miss a quote. Oh no, that was up there. All right. You can take pictures of this if you want. I know we all love diffuser recipes. I don't know why, but they're just fun. I tend to like to just use blends. So if there's a blend that I like, it's okay to just put the drops of the blend in. You don't have to be like a diffuser chemist. Have you ever put oil in your diffuser and decided that it was awful? That's happened to me a few times. So here's some from the starter bundle. The first one on the left here is Pollen Buster, Lavender Lemon Peppermint. That one has been well known for a long time. We call it just LLP, or sometimes you'll hear it called seasonal wellness. And when they're referring to seasonal, that just means, yeah, it's a pollen buster. Calm, lavender and stress away smell amazing together. Those two are like a super calming one. Mood lifter, frankincense and lemon. So you see the drops to the left here is like how many drops to put in. Frankincense and lemon. The lemon is like it lifts the mood. It's kind of inspiring and encouraging and stuff. Frankincense is just great for emotional health. Elevate. So these are on the other side, other favorites. These are not in the starter bundle. Northern Lights Black Spruce smells so good. My husband puts it on like cologne, and it's just amazing. So you can put that and Genius is a blend. You can put those together in a diffuser. And then if you like to just use one bottle, like I was talking about, and these are my favorites, just Stress Away. Like you could just put 6 to 8 drops of Stress Away. Valor is amazing. I love Valor so much. And then abundance is one my husband actually loves. I think I've mentioned that in some of my classes before. That's one that he really likes. When I start diffusing, he's like, "Oh my gosh, it smells so good in here." And it's a good one because it helps him to think more positively. All right. So here's some Q&A tips for you. How do you know what oils to choose and how many drops? A lot of people that are just starting out using diffusers, they have these like lots of questions because it's like a whole different thing that we're doing, right? Leanne says peace and calming is her favorite. What's in the pollen buster again, Leanne? It is lemon, lavender, peppermint. Hi, Deanne. Deanna. I've been talking to Deanne too lately, Deanna. So, okay. So I do that to her just the other way around too. All right. So all of these questions, and you don't know until you figure things out and learn to kind of trust your intuition a little bit. So here's the answer. You can run about any combination of oils in your diffusers, but as a rule of thumb, not more than 6 to 8 drops, and that is kind of up to you. So when we have classes, like people that are not used to, so if you have guests over that are not used to diffusers, you may want to keep it under 6 drops in there because if they're not used to that, it smells very different to them and kind of strong. So I have been known to use 12 to 15 drops of oils, and that's okay for me. So, but as a rule of thumb, you can just go 6 to 8 drops, and then you get to like kind of change that around. So the reason that people don't give specific recipes is because each person is biochemically different. So each body wants a different ratio. Your own body may want more or less on from one day to the next. Oils that you loved yesterday may not smell so good to you today. Then you can return to them later and like crave them. So it all depends on what your body was exposed to, what it's fighting off, and what it wants. So same thing like with food. When you're not feeling well, things taste a little different, right? Cricket says, I use way too many drops. Yeah, no, it's okay. Use what works for you. So yeah, and then sometimes depending on what's going on with our bodies, we might crave something and just go towards that all the time. So that same thing works with oils. It all depends on your body and what's going on. The body has like these oil mood changes. This is why you should always revisit the old fragrances, the old smells. If you don't like them, just set it aside and maybe you'll like it later. Try it again sometime. I know some people don't like peace and calming because they don't like the patchouli in it or something. But once they've been exposed to it for a while, body chemistry starts to adjust a little bit, and then you might crave it. It's really interesting. So I like to mix my single oils when I diffuse, but generally leave the blends alone because you can kind of like put blend, 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 and then it just turns into this, oh my gosh, what did I just do with my oils? Because they just have too many oils in them. Okay, another question that I get is what oil do you pick? So so I we're talking a little about like this being kind of a mindset thing, right? Like we're so used to in our society, A equals B. Like, okay, I have this, what do I use? I have this, use this, right? But in natural health, it tends to be more intuitive. So we've lost touch with our intuition so much because the way we've been educated is like just follow what you've been taught or what you've been told, and not really learning how to use our intuition. So now you will learn to trust your intuition. Just go to the first thing that draws your attention, right? So just follow your nose. Your body knows what it needs, and so just trust that. I'll I'll tell you that every single day, if you just take a few moments and open the caps of your bottles, and then just smell it. And then one day you might smell lemon and go, oh my gosh, this is it. This is what I want to use. The next day, maybe it's going to be frankincense. Maybe after a long day away from home, it can be stress away. So these are my experiences. It may I make it a point to try a new diffuser or oil in my diffuser at least once a week, something I haven't used, so I can just kind of see, um, you know, how it makes me feel, or if I like it or not, or something. And sometimes they turn into my favorites. One of my latest favorites was oh, the One Heart oil. I started using that again and I was like, oh my gosh, I really love this. So, you just kind of stick with those things for a while. So your favorites may not be somebody else's favorite. Just remember, every time you turn on your diffuser, you're doing a favor for your body. So, how often do I diffuse? We kind of talked about that all day long, and why, right? If it gets to the point to where it bothers you, then your body will let you know that it's had enough. It's, just turn off the diffuser, walk outside for a few minutes, open a few windows. You're not getting hurt by your diffuser, but your olfactory system may just get on overload, right? So even too much water can be like too much. Your body will tell you what it wants, and then you just it'll toss whatever it doesn't use. Okay. All right. What if I forget to keep it going all day? Well, that takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of adding it into your routine. So there's different ways that you can handle that. One of the ways that I do, for those of us that kind of have a diffuser collection, Leanne says she craves peace and calming. Geranium would make my house smell like a flower shop. Yes, it would. Yes, geranium is a very strong oil. Um, so once you start using diffusers, you might start collecting a few, might have at least one in every room. So there are strategic spots that you can place it around your house. And you'll find that out on your own. I have one in my bathroom, and that way when I'm up getting ready in the morning, I can just put some water in it, put a few oils. So I have some oils right next to it that I tend to like to use in the morning to get me going. Like peppermint oil is just like it's energizing stuff. So I might do that. I have one on my nightstand for when I'm getting ready in the evening. It just like kind of kicks off that evening routine. Like you start to smell it, and it's like, okay, and you start to fall into your routine. And it just calms everything down. Have one in my living room where our family gathers to, talk or maybe watch movies occasionally. We don't do that a whole lot, um, but sitting around talking and stuff, I might, put an oil in there depending on what we're doing. Um, so I'll choose an oil depending on what we're doing. I have one in the kitchen, and I use that often because, we don't always get the dishes done right after they're used, and it can get a little bit interesting in there. Also, just after cooking, sometimes the kitchen just smells like food still for a while. So I'll go and just turn on the diffuser. That's where I tend to like to use abundance in there, or purification, sometimes just lemongrass. It just is, they're nice, strong oils and makes it smell good. So, uh, and then, oh, and I had one in the kids' rooms. So they each had their own diffuser that they could use. And, you can go in with your kids and in the morning, go fill up their diffuser, put a couple drops of peppermint in there, kind of tingles their noses to let them know it's time to get up, get ready for school or whatever. And, just put the diffusers where you're going to use them. Even if they're not on every minute of the day, it's okay. I have one in my car that I love to use for a peaceful drive to work and back. So, or school or wherever you're going. So if you go to work every day, then that might be a way to, you know, kind of, especially if you can't use a diffuser in your office, wherever you work, then you can at least have it in your car. But remember, the purpose is to get to play around with your oils, and don't just leave them sitting there. They're not a collection. They're for your health. So start using them. Use them all. If you don't, if you let them just sit there for long periods of time, they will eventually like a few molecules at a time. They do start to seep out of the lid, and you don't want those to go to waste. So put them to use. So what do you do if you can't run one at work? Since I mentioned that, how many human diffusers walk around work without an issue? Perfume, right? And it's so toxic. So let's not even talk about the nasty plugins and diffusers in there. The plugins and air fresheners that are in the office and stuff. So there's some ways to use your oils. You putting it on your skin, so you get to be your own human diffuser to kind of make a force field to block some of those toxins from coming in, and some of the things that people might be breathing out. And then use your diffuser jewelry like we talked about last week. Also, your hair makes a good passive diffuser. It'll stay on your hair for like 4 to 6 to 8 hours, something like that. So you can put that in there too. Make it a point to diffuse all of if you just got your starter bundle, make it a point to use all of those 12 oils over the next 12 days, one a day. And then after that, start mixing and matching to find your favorite combinations. Remember to write it down so you can remember the recipes that you came up with. Otherwise, you'll be like, oh no, I don't remember what that amazing fragrance was that I put together. Okay, let's move on to topical use. Hi, Tracy. Tracy Carlson is here. She is the amazing lady that I had an interview with here a couple weeks ago. So you can say hi to her in the Facebook chat there. Okay, topical use. Now, lots of questions, always lots of questions about topical. Let's see, Leslie says, does Young Living have one for the car? Leslie, I am hoping that they will come out with a new one. We had one, which I got. It was released as part of the Winter Whimsy collection. Oh, is that what it was called? Yeah, it was, I can't remember the name of the diffuser, but it was super cute. It just looks like just this large capsule and it fits right into your cup holder. It's metal, so it's really nice. We've had the Via one, which I wasn't real impressed with that one. I mean, it worked really nice, but both of those were water diffusers, so you could pour water into them just like our regular diffusers. But I would say just to watch out for those. I'm sure that Young Living will come out with some other ones. Our diffusers are a higher quality than what you can get online, but you might be able to find a diffuser on Amazon. So you can also there are some things that you can hang up that are like passive diffusers. A passive diffuser is where you just drop an oil on and it just sits there. So, okay. So moving on to these topical tips here. All right, where do I apply? That's like the first question that I get. Oh, Wonder Bliss. Yes, thank you so much, Cricket. It's a really cute one. Charlie says that she uses that and they're truck driving right now, she and her husband. So they use that. All right. So where do you put it? You know, this one could be pretty cut and dry. Basically, get the oil on your skin. Just like, you know what that makes me think of is Shrek, where he'd say, get in my belly. Well, when we get to the internal section, we can talk about getting it in your belly, but this is like, get it on my body. Okay, just put it on. So we could end there, but since you're participating in this class, we will go ahead and dig a little deeper. All right. And that's going to be like the whole rest of the class of talking about how to use it topically. So here's a couple of questions that do come up with concerns. What if I see redness? So the basic rule of thumb here is to always dilute with children and then always dilute for adults with a first time use. After that, I generally don't dilute unless I see redness. And I didn't know about diluting when I first started using oils. I just always, on my babies and everything, I just used it straight. But I was careful about how I put beads on my baby's feet straight, and it never caused any redness, but that's a hot oil. So that would be one that you would want to be careful about. So what are some reasons why you might see redness? Well, redness can be from toxins that are actually escaping the skin. This is a reaction with something, it can be something, I'm sorry, it could be a reaction with something that's already on your skin, maybe some other kind of lotions or something, and you put the oil on and it's, it has a reaction with it. Or it could be an interaction with a pharmaceutical drug in your system. So if you want to learn more about that, and I'll put this again in the Zoom chat. Sorry, I can't put this in the Facebook Live, but you can just, I'll tell you what it is. It's Scott Johnson's book, Scott Johnson, called Evidence-Based Essential Oil Therapy. Evidence-Based Essential Oil Therapy. And Zoom, I'm not sure why it posts those as a photo. Oh, here we go. Wait. Okay. It tries to make it like a photo in there instead of like words. So it's kind of weird. Okay. Another reason why you might see redness is that your body has a high acid pH. If your system is high acid, then you need to start drinking Ningxia Red and water and get your butt on the rev up, because high acid environment is what promotes cancer growth. So I'm not saying that when you put oil on, if it turns red, you might have cancer. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying let's get your body in a healthier pH where it needs to be. But if you do have a high acid pH, that may be one reason why you see your skin turning red. Another possibility is that you might just have sensitive skin. So if it turns red, use a carrier oil. It's okay to put that on afterwards, even if you didn't use a carrier oil during application. The carrier oil is any oil whose molecules, well, like your cooking oil, okay? So your coconut oil, your vegetable oil, olive oil, all of those are carrier oils. When you put them on your skin, it's like oily. When you put essential oils on your skin, it's not oily, it absorbs. So the reason that it does that is because the molecules are larger than those in essential oils. They're not large enough to go into the pores of your body. So there's, okay, other oils are grapeseed oil, there's hemp seed oil, jojoba. Like tell me what kind of carrier oils you use. Everybody here, I think probably uses carrier oils. Sweet almond oil is one that aromatherapists love to use. I always keep one handy in my purse, and I'll either like take a 5 ml bottle and like recycle it and put a carrier oil in it. I like to use the Young Living V6 oil, and I just put that in there, or make a roller bottle. They're on Amazon. You can get a 10 ml roller bottle and with the metal ball on the top, and put your carrier oil in there. And then you can have one like in your purse. You can have them in different places in the house. And that way, whenever, if your skin tends to turn red like that, you can just grab it and put it on. It's also good in case you get it in some sensitive area in your eye or something like that, to have that carrier oil around. So, okay, I kind of got off track there a little bit. Okay, so also when the skin turns red, it doesn't mean that it's making you sick or anything like that. It's doing what it's supposed to do. You just don't want it working so fast. So some oils, the ones that feel really hot, the molecules are even smaller than other oils, and they go in very quickly into the skin, and you can get some redness from that. And so when you put the carrier oil on it, those large molecules slow it down, so it doesn't have such a burning sensation and cause your skin to turn red. So, so V6, I mentioned that is, it has 6 of the top carrier oils in it, and they're all really clean carrier oils. So I really just like to use that. All right. So again, when you have a new oil, then just kind of check to see, maybe put a drop on your skin and see how it responds. The inside of the arm tends to be a place where it's good to try it. But if you think it might be a hot oil, then that's a little bit of a sensitive area. Just put it on the bottom of your feet. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay, let's talk about photosensitive oils. Who here knows what a photosensitive oil is? See Stacy's here watching. Hi, Stacy. And Trina, hello. Let's see. I know we've got some chat here in the Zoom. Let's see what y'all are talking about. Michelle said coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, jojoba. Yep. Jojoba is great for like facial skin. We like to use that there. Yeah, my favorite carrier, yeah, I was mentioning V6 is one of my favorites. My backup would be like olive oil or coconut oil, those two. And depending on what the application is too. Okay. Hi, Susie. Okay, so we're just talking about photosensitive oils. What is a photosensitive oil? Cricket says it means it's sensitive to sun exposure. Yeah, basically that's what it is. All right, so these are oils that you don't want to apply to your skin where your skin, that part of your skin will be exposed to the sun for the next 12 to 48 hours. This also can depend on how sensitive you tend to be. It just enhances the effect of the sun on your skin. So if you tend to burn easily, then you need to be extra careful about this. So citrus oils are high in, here's a fun word, furanocoumarins. And this is just a chemical compound that increases UV sensitivity. So you don't want to have something on your skin when you go out in the sun that is increasing UV sensitivity. So you just, put it where the sun don't shine, or, cover up those areas from direct sunlight. The oils that come in the starter bundle that are photosensitive are citrus fresh, diagize, lemon, stress away, and thieves, because thieves has lemon in it. And I believe, what does stress away? Stress away have lime in it. It has lime. So those are all blends. In addition to those, most citrus oils, as I mentioned, are photosensitive as well. Bergamot is a citrus oil. If you don't know that, for a long time, I didn't know that bergamot was a citrus. So the way that these citrus plants were created, it's part of the plant that photosynthesis is still preserved when the oils are like the way that the oil is cold pressed. Okay, our oils that are citrus, they're always cold pressed from the rind, and photosynthesis is still preserved in that process. So that means that when the sunlight hits it, then it wants to grow lemons on your arms. So we don't want to do that. Not that that's going to happen, but it wants to do something. It feels like it's supposed to do something. So you can get a burn by wearing those oils for prolonged hours in the sun. Okay. And there are some oils that are not citrus that are also photosensitive, but we may not know exactly what they are. They contain these furanocoumarins. Like there can be mixes of compounds, like some of these blends that you don't realize have that, like a citrus or that compound in there as part of its chemical structure. And if that happens and you apply an oil that you start to feel like you're having some problems in the sun, then just cover it up. If you need to do some research on it, you can always just go to Google to see if a certain oil is photosynthesis sensitive. Whew, we're getting too sciencey here. All right, let's move off of this topic. How about a more fun topic? Let's talk about uncomfortable spots. If you are new to essential oils, start with the bottoms of your feet. So with topical application, you need to be careful about where you're applying your oils. If you're just starting out, stick with the bottoms of your feet. You have the largest pores on the bottom of your feet, so it absorbs the oils, and your feet are more tough skin than the other skin. Oh, Charlie, yeah, I see you lost your internet connection. So she's on Facebook. So it's a great place to try new oils. The feet are great for starting with kids as well. Like I mentioned, I used to put thieves on the bottom of their feet, had no clue what a carrier oil was. They never had a problem. But because it's such a tough area of the skin, and it's not likely to spook the kids either, you know, like, it's burning or anything like that. So don't place oils inside of the ear, like down in the ear hole. You never want to drop it in there. The eardrum is very sensitive, so you don't want to put that in there. Your lower neckline, if that tends to be thinner there, you may not want to put oils there. Your private areas, or near your eyes. Now, there are some oils that you can put in the private area, but we're going to be talking about that with Wendy's class in a couple of weeks, a few weeks, when is she going to be teaching that? It's called Winter Nights. I think it's going to be on the 21st. So that's a fun class. You may want to come and join us for that. But you need to know what you're doing when you use them like that. Okay, so it can be really uncomfortable if you put them in sensitive spots and you're not using the right oils for it. If that ever happens, things start to burn, then use some of your carrier oil, your V6 or whatever, to dilute it. You know what happens? Like, I've had so many people tell me they got oil in their eye because they didn't listen to my whole Essential Oil 101 class. And they got oil in their eye, and then they put water in it to try to get it out. Okay, what happens with oil and water? If you put water in it, it spreads it out all around your eyeball. So oil and water do not mix. Instead of flushing your eyes out with water, use a carrier oil, use the V6, and just like rub it right in there, and it'll pull that oil out. I have a little story from Sarah Harnish. She says, I made a mistake of using oregano oil on my hoo-ha once. I've never seen my husband grab the carrier oil as slowly as he did that day. It was almost as if it was out of one of those slow motion movies. I'm not going to give you all the details. Let's just say that my hoo-ha is still intact and I did not die. I have no long-lasting effects aside from the damage to my ego. The positive effect is there's been a full bottle of carrier oil on my nightstand since that day 6 years ago. This may be the most important tip that I can give. Keep the carrier oil by your bed, especially if you're using oils near your hoo-ha. She's so cute. Everybody's going to have a story like this at some point, especially if you're not like careful. And some of us like, whatever. Yeah, exactly, Michelle. So one of my story was that I often use tea tree. My skin used to be broken out a lot, even into my 30s, because I hadn't figured out how to correct my diet and everything back then, and I didn't know what was causing it. So I had tea tree oil always outside of the bathroom on my sink shelf. So whenever I got out of the shower, I would go grab that bottle and put, like, just kind of cover my face with it. So that label color is kind of a red maroon color. And I got out of the shower one time, out of the hot shower, patted my face dry, and everything's kind of foggy. I went and grabbed the oil, put it all over my face, and noticed it started burning. Like, my pores are all opened up from the hot shower. It was burning. Same color label or similar to thieves oil. I had covered my whole face with it. Thankfully, I had my V6 oil sitting right there. I pumped it out real quick and slathered my whole face with it. It was rough, but that calmed it down a lot. So that's why you need to know how to deal with some of those things. All right. Where to apply continued. All right, this will be the simplest human anatomy lesson you'll ever get, where to put oils 101. Some of my favorite places to put oils in the body are my big toes. The big toes connect, the nerve endings there come straight from the brain. They're up to the brain all the way to the big toes. Also your thumbs. Your thumbs are connected there, but I find that it's more effective on the big toes. On my chest, I like to use like RC or Raven comes in the current starter bundle. I'll use Raven with like coconut oil or my V6 and rub that all over my chest. And that's very calming for my respiratory system. Under my third and fourth fingers, okay, so I'm talking about like if you go to the pads of your third and fourth fingers, come all the way down to where it connects to the hand and go down a little bit. Right there is where your sinus points are. Those nerves are connected to the sinus points in your head. So I like to apply oils there too. Over my heart is another place I'll apply oils. Anywhere on my feet, on my spine, especially whenever I am coming down with something. On the inside, top inside of my ear. So at the very top, inside of the ear, and then around the edges down to my earlobes, but never directly into dropping it into the ear hole. You don't want that like hitting your eardrum like that. So the back of my neck is one of my top favorite places to apply. It's the where the medulla is. So if the medulla is where the vagus nerve is located, and that nerve it pretty much runs to every organ in your body. The medulla is easy to find. So if you put your fingers on the back of your head, the back of your skull, dead center, you'll find this bony ridge back here. And you come down just below that bony ridge, and that's where it's kind of soft. And that's where the bundle of nerves is located. Oils have an electric current and they love to run down the nerves. So you place it right there and it'll affect everything. Have you ever put it in an oil like on your toe or the bottom of your feet or somewhere on your body and it travels up the nerve and you taste it in your mouth? It's really sometimes a little surprising, like, that's weird. When I do raindrops, and we're going to have raindrop classes the next 2 weeks, when I do a raindrop, I have it only on my hands, and often I can feel it in my back as I'm doing a raindrop for somebody, or I can feel it in my feet or different areas of my body. It's the first time that happened, I'm like, this is strange. So, okay. Emotions. What about emotions? We have a whole emotional class that's going to be a little bit later down the road. I think we're going to have that in March. We'll have an emotions class. The winter nights class will have a little bit on emotions too. But one of my favorite things, this is where I was talking about applying it over the heart. That's one of the areas that I apply whenever we're dealing with emotions. Okay, let me see what Cricket said here. I applied Cool Azul on my lower back when I woke up. Then I got out of bed and went to the restroom and used the same hand when I wiped. I was very aware of my mistake. Yes, Cool Azul, the pain cream, or any of that. Yeah, it's minty. So you will be very aware. All right, so talking about emotions here. On our last slide, you saw those charts, all those fancy charts and stuff. You can go Google VitaFlex charts, and I'll put in the chat here how to spell that. It's VITAFLEX. And you can get very specific about where you like to place your oils. So there's VitaFlex of the hands, VitaFlex of the feet, VitaFlex of the ears. In Raindrop, we will be talking more specifically about this. And but honestly, just put your hand in the middle of your chest, right here, and then just turn slightly. You should be able to feel your heartbeat. Like you can tell where your heart is. It tells you where it is. It's the only organ that you really can't mess up because it makes like a constant noise, right? So that's where I put my oils right there. This technique is really great for the SpongeBob grumpy pants that are around the house, maybe teenagers or just the grumpies. Here's something that Sarah was talking about, oh, and it's very much relates to what we did too. She said she had teens. Most of them were happy-go-lucky. Mine, I had one happy-go-lucky and one that was tended to be very melancholy, introverted, and shy. She would get a drop of rose or joy almost every night. When we would do like this nighttime routine, we would do some reading together at night, a story that we were working or something, and we would do that. We'd apply that right over her heart. So stress away oil for her and for me the next day. And then on days when I would forget, there's always acceptance oil, hope oil, and stress away oil. Those all will help to use those or to use if you forget to use your stress away first thing in the morning, because you might have some things that you need to deal with afterwards. So, okay. I also love to drop oil on my liver, especially if I'm dealing with anger. Somebody that is angry all the time, they process that. Your liver has to deal with that. That's where it's held. So lemon oil all over the liver. And where is the liver? If it's just under the right rib cage. So if you feel where that is, on the right side, that's where your liver is, and it wraps around to the back. So put some oil there. Another place that I often use oils, or used to use oils here a lot, because I worked 100 hours a week and homeschooled, and there were just all kinds of things going on. I knew my adrenals were super stressed, is to apply oils right over your adrenals. So how do you find your adrenals? If you make two fists and you put them behind your back, under the ribs, like, and then you'll find where your kidneys are. Okay, right over your kidneys, between the kidneys and the ribs, are your adrenal glands. Those are where you can apply a drop of nutmeg, or there's an oil called NRG, ENRGEE, like energy. You can apply it right there. If you don't have those, use stress away. It also has some good oils in there, but those are the ones that tend to be used a lot for adrenal. Okay, so now you have a couple of ideas for where to place oils on your body, and for those that that you love around you. It's not rocket science, but it might feel like it is until you get the hang of it. I'll tell you that it can get pretty funny as you walk up to people and start randomly putting oils on just for practice. That's something that I saw, my friend in upline, Nancy, she would just random oil, drive-by oil people. That might be another reason why she would, get a lot of new members, because they would just be like, oh my goodness, what did you just do? What was that, right? Okay, here's a note from Sarah Harnish, because this whole presentation comes from her script book. You can order that online on Amazon. And these, you can just read all the way through all of these presentations. I modified it to fit a presentation here, but hers is like you can read through the whole book. So here's what Sarah said. The day Young Living founder D. Gary Young passed away, I had a gut feeling that I was going to need my courage oil, Valor. I happened to be in the flea market that afternoon. I have no idea why, but I had put Valor on at least 10 random strangers. She's a very blue sapphire personality. So she put it on 10 random strangers after talking to them, of course. I'm not telling you to drive by oil people, but you're only going to get better at this whole topical application thing if you get some practice. I used the entire bottle of Valor that day. Later that night, I got the news that Gary was gone. And she knew Gary Young, the founder of Young Living. She knew him really well. So this was really a hard hit for a lot of people. She said, I figured out why I needed it so much. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is just put the oil where your best guess is, and play around with the oils on your own. You're going to learn far more about oiling by playing with what you have than just about any other thing that you do. Okay. If I were to list my major wow moments using oils topically, I would tell you one that's at the top of the list is simply just using common sense. I'm not a medical professional, but I know enough that if I had like a small bump on my skin somewhere, I'm probably not going to get any traction out of putting helichrysum directly on the site. I'm probably going to get a lot more traction out of putting helichrysum directly on the site rather than putting an oil in the diffuser, for example. So, so you understand that that would make a lot of sense. So just always ask where you're working. If you have sniffles and you're looking for immune support, sniffles tend to start in the gut. So, if you don't know that, then just put it over the sniffle area, all that, where your sinuses are. But sniffles do start with the gut. 90% of bugs that we don't want in our body and enter through the nose and end up in the digestive system. So, amid the mix of bone broth, hydration, vitamin C, and other things when it comes to oiling, one of the first lines of defense is taking oils internally in a veggie capsule versus dumping something topically on my skin. We'll talk about some internal use oils and a really good recipe. That's going to be in part 3. But just kind of, to get the idea of the common sense, like, if you have something going on, like a cold or something like that, then, you deal with that in a different way. Okay, so here is another way of using oils topically. You can make a nose swab recipe. Now, Egyptian Gold and Exodus both are probably not available. I forgot to check on that. But if you have those 2 oils, and if you have animal sense ointment, or I know that's hard to get sometimes, you can get the rose ointment. So whichever one, if you can make this recipe together, use a Q-tip, dip the swab inside, and then rub it like in your nostrils before you get on a plane. Or if you're going into a store, or, like I made this recipe during the masking days, and I would just put that on. And even if you don't have a Q-tip with you, just stick your finger in your nose. It's fine. We do natural things here. It also makes a good personal diffuser when your flight mate decides to eat something indigestible before a 4-hour flight. You've got your own, diffuser blocking those fragrances. So do you see all the possibilities for using your oils? It's just truly endless. There are about 1,400 Vitaflex points. These are places where the nerves end in your body. And those are some of what we were talking about. That's a lot of places to put oil. So don't feel like you need to know it all. If you're totally overwhelmed by the Vitaflex chart and all of its points, and you're trying to put something on the stomach, if you're in the general area, the oil will find its way there. It'll go where the body needs it to go. We'll talk a bit more about strategic placement of oils whenever we go through the raindrop class coming up in the next couple of weeks. So a lot of people don't like the smell of digize, and my son would put it topically over his tummy, but I've known people that just put it on the bottom of their feet, even though they're having a tummy ache, right? But it gets to where it needs to go. It gets into the bloodstream. So if you're unsure about where to place oils, feel a bit overwhelmed with the possibilities, then start with just your hands and feet. That's where most of the nerve endings come out, and you'll hit a lot of points just starting there. Just put it on. It's a rule of thumb. If you're ever unsure, just go low and slow. Start with the feet, which have the largest pores of the body, and use less oil than you think you'll need. You can always add more oil later. Okay, I see Dawn checking in here. All right, let's see. My mouse keeps disappearing, so I can't see where I'm going. Okay, so this is kind of a mid-presentation homework assignment, because we're getting ready to talk, kind of switch gears. We're still going to talk about topical tips, but here's your homework. I want you to apply oil in a place that you've never applied it before. And so for some of those of you that have been here for a long time, veterans, that might be a little bit challenging to figure out where you're going to apply oil with all the ways that we talked about that you haven't applied it before. It might be the inside edge of your ear, or it could be your pinky finger. You might maybe get your spouse into a massage and like talk him into a massage and put some stress away on his spine or the bottoms of his feet. So here's a tip. You can't get your man on board, just pamper him. Pamper him. I have a lot of women that come and say, I've been doing this and my husband won't get on board. He thinks it's witchcraft. I'm like, okay, why don't you give him a massage? Oh, he will start to love oils. You can try the grumpy pants idea with one of your kids, the Joy or Rose over the heart. Or probably go with Joy. Rose is a little bit pricier oil, but it sure is effective and you don't have to use very much. So, but yeah, go do it and you'll see a difference. And then tomorrow, so your homework tonight is to put an oil where you haven't used it before. Tomorrow, try a new spot. Okay, here's another little story from Sarah Harnish. She said, I started giving hand massages to my kids each night before bed with lavender oil. So is this another way to apply? I do this for 5 minutes and gently rub the oil into their skin. I found after a few nights with 5 kids, though, at least one would get back in line and try to trick me into giving a second hand massage. My kids are older. We're talking 21, 19, 18, 16, and 13. The older ones still get back in line when they're home visiting. When we started oiling 6 years ago, it was a great way to bond with my kids. All right. If you're not sure which oils to use topically, then use the same trick that we talked about with your diffuser. Smell some of them and see which one your body wants. You'd be surprised. You'll also be surprised that your body won't always want the same oil. So just try it and trust your intuition. Who cares if it's hokey? It's just you and the bottle. So, all right. So by this point, you're likely getting pretty comfortable with trying new places on your body for oils. Let's put our attention into where you're placing them, or take our attention from where we're placing them to more onto what's in the bottle. Let's dig a little deeper into the aromatherapy world here. There are 2 types of topical applications in the aromatherapy world, layering and blending. So this is where you really get to play with your oil collection. Okay, what is layering? Layering is dropping oils on one at a time, 30 seconds apart, right from the bottle. It took me a long time to learn about this. I had heard about layering and I was just like, what is that? And I come to find out I had already been doing it. I just didn't know it. So this is one of the most effective ways to use your oils topically. I prefer layering over blending because it allows the oil to work powerfully in the way that it was designed to work when you just drop it. And then it doesn't have any interference. So you just drop it right on and let it go to work. When you blend, you're really like shoving molecules together in a small place or space, and then they work the way that they will work beside each other. So it works a little bit differently than putting layers of oils on. Some oils enhance one another, like when you're blending, and some oils mute one another. So knowing, what you're applying sometimes is helpful to know that, they're still beneficial together. So if you want the full power of a single oil, then you're going to want to layer it and not blend it, especially when you're talking about techniques like the raindrop technique, where we do a lot of layering of oils. So how do you effectively layer an oil or oils? I was always taught to massage the oil into the skin gently until the area is dry. So you drop it and then you massage it like 30 to 60 seconds. And then when it's completely dry, depending on how much oil you're using. Then you can apply to the next oil and rub it again until it's absorbed in the skin and it's dry. So you repeat this as many times as needed. Some of my favorite oils for layering are frankincense, energy, valor, and genius on the back of my neck. So I'll layer one of those at a time, like put it on, and if you can't drop it directly on, you can drop it in your hand and then, rub your fingers in there 3 times clockwise. We'll talk about that in the raindrop class. And then you just rub it on your, like the medulla where we talked about where that was in that soft spot, rub it on, go to your next oil, rub it on, okay? And for those on Zoom, I'll go ahead and put these oils in the chat here. If it'll go, there we go. Okay, and so those are really for mood and focus and stuff. So if you have a hard time with focusing, which I don't claim to have ADHD or anything, but I do sometimes. My mind is in so many different places, and being able to just focus on what I'm doing, which I needed to do in order to prepare this presentation. I spent about 8 hours working on it, at least. There may have been more time, but I needed to really focus to be able to get the job done. So that's what I'll do, is just layer some of those on and then get to work. So how do I make up layering combinations? Like, how do you know what to layer? So this just really comes with the awareness of your needs. Maybe if I fall asleep one night and notice that I broke a nail, okay, and then so I may go to my web browser, look up like nail bed support recipe, and try layering the oils in your fingers. So you can, you go to Google, search for those things, and then click on images. You get all kinds of great stuff there. Every time that you're thinking of something that's bothering you, make a note of it, and then see what's out there in the essential oil world that's going to make a difference. Use your pocket reference, your desk reference, all of those kind of ways of researching. Chances are it's already been done. So just look it up and see what other people have done. And then keep a checklist on things like that you see things like on your kids, your husband, anyone in your family, and just do a little digging, find out if there's something in the essential oil world that you can use. And, I'm amazed by the like millions of uses of every single oil. So just find those, and then you can, like if there's a list of oils, it says da, 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 like these 5 oils, you can layer those right on top of what it is that you're trying to correct. Okay, how about a compress and castor oil packs? Has anybody here used a castor oil pack before? No? I've never used one before, but I can tell you how to do it. So for a compress, this is something that you can use to make layering more effective, is by applying a compress afterwards, and we do this in Raindrop. Michelle, I'm not surprised that you have. Michelle she's like way far along on these kind of things. Okay, so for a compress, you're gonna like rub 1 to 3 drops of oil in the location. So do your layering and stuff, diluted or neat, however you want to do that. And then you're gonna cover it with a damp hot towel for 10 to 60 minutes. So you can go and get that wet in hot water, squeeze it out, and then put it on. And then if the site feels better with ice, you can use that instead, depending on what's going on there. As the oil penetrates, you may experience a warming sensation because the hot compress will drive it in. Cold compress will have a different effect, but it also does some driving. And yeah, some different things. So anybody with MS, for instance, they have to have a cold compress. It's not good for them to have the hot compresses. So if it becomes like, as it's driving the oil in, if it becomes too uncomfortable, then just grab some V6 or any carrier oil and dilute it. Put it on there and then put the compress back on, or remove the compress, when it feels like you're just done. So use the heat on the skin. Using the heat on the skin can magnify the effects of the essential oils, especially if it's a hot oil like cinnamon or oregano. And so that can feel pretty hot. You may need a carrier with those before driving it in deeper. Okay, and then to kick it up a few notches with a castor oil pack, then you're going to apply your essential oils like we talked about before, and then you're going to soak a multi-layered cloth in cold pressed castor oil for a few seconds. So this can be like flannel, like 3 or 4 pieces of flannel, just cut them, the pieces, and then you soak them in there, and then just make layers of those. And you're going to wrap that in a BPA-free plastic. And Michelle, if you have another way of doing this, feel free to put that in the chat. She's on Zoom, by the way. Put it in your plastic and seal it up. And then you put that on top of the layered oils, and then you put a hot water bottle or heating pad over that plastic. So that really kicks it up. Okay, so those are some of the top layering tactics. And just know that we didn't use these all in our first year. Most of us didn't. Michelle might have. But a lot of us didn't even know about these things until later on. So, I'm still learning things. I started really using my oils in 2012, and I'm still learning new things all the time. So don't feel like you have to know all the things. Okay, simple blending. Simple blending. Okay, see, it's already 7:23. So we have we have just like 4 more slides here, and then we're going to stop. This is why I stopped it at this point, because it's already going on an hour and a half, right? Yeah, you can brand drop. That's okay. Go ahead and put that in there, Michelle. Okay. Okay, so 3 rules for blending. There are okay, hold on. Train of thought. Need my oils here. Okay, we have a whole class on blending. So that's going to be later on down the road. So just watch out for the topics as they come up on Wellness Wednesdays. And so we're just going to barely touch on this topic right now. You can make blends for perfumes, skincare, massage, pre-mixed diffuser blends, salves and oils, and beauty DIYs. You can also make vitality blends ahead of time in a single bottle to make it easier to put the recipes together that use frequently. So here are the 3 rules of blending. You use 1 bottle that you put all of the oils in, write down what you did, and let it sit for 24 hours. This allows the chemistry of the oils to meld together. Okay. And here is a good example here. So when I need support for my respiratory system, I like to use thieves, oregano, and frankincense in a blend. So I'll grab those like vitality oils. And this is about how it looks. So maybe like I'll get a veggie capsule, which Young Living carries, and I'll open that up. I'll put 10 drops of Thieves Vitality, 8 drops of Oregano Vitality, and 2 drops of Frankincense Vitality in a veggie capsule. For those of you that stuck around, by the way, we're going to do the drawing at the end because I forgot in the middle. So 10 drops of Thieves, 8 drops of Oregano, 2 drops of Frankincense, all in a veggie capsule, and I'll swallow that. If I don't want to mix that up all the time because I'm going to need to be taking this more often, then I will go ahead and blend those into a bottle. So just take that recipe and multiply it by 10, which is what we have here on the slide. So everything is multiplied by 10, and that would be the recipe that you would put into a bottle. And let it sit for 24 hours. And then when you go to use it, all you have to do is take that 1 bottle and your veggie capsule and put 20 drops in there, or somewhere around that. Let's see. Yeah, and so this eliminates me having to open up all these multiple bottles every time that I want to fill up a veggie capsule. Makes it a lot more simple to use. And then after sitting for 24 hours, then it just really makes it perfectly blended for the next day. You can also do this with like nighttime oils. So you can like, if you have kids, you can get your kids and have them choose their favorite nighttime oils, and you can blend those together. So you can make up an individual mix for each of them. You can do it for yourself and whatever family members. What are your favorite sleepy oils? Maybe it's lavender and stress away and peace and calming. I know those are like two blends that you can put together. Where some and the ones, if you're not sure what is generally used for internal use, then the vitality oils are those that you can use for internal use. But this, even making blends, it doesn't have to be internal use. So for instance, those three that I just mentioned, maybe that's something that you can put in a bottle and save it. You can actually put some carrier oil in that also if you want to. And then whenever it's time for bed, you just maybe apply it to your chest and your feet at night. So it doesn't have to be used just for like internal use. So all kinds of blending ideas there. Okay, here's Sarah Harnish's Clarity Blend. So Sarah says, we'll get to that in a minute. She says that she likes to make her own skincare products too. And so like she'll make her eye serum blends and just dot them around the outside of her eyes. Pick a carrier oil and add frankincense, sandalwood, lavender, and myrrh to it. Don't put peppermint in it. That's not, you don't really want that near your eyes. It's not very pleasant. So in the Zoom chat, I'll go ahead and put these for the eye serum. I'll put these in the chat for you, so it's easy. Here we go. Yeah, Karana, it's fun to do some blending there. Okay, so then Sarah's Clarity Blend here, she has 8 drops of Northern Lights Black Spruce, 4 drops of Genius, 2 drops of Brain Power, and 1 drop of Present Time. Okay, I've been talking too long. So Present Time is one of my favorites. I think that's one of her favorites too. And then you just take that and multiply it by 10 to put it into a bottle, or multiply it by whatever is going to fit in the bottle. So let's talk about what's going to fit in a bottle, because you need to know that ahead of time, right? It depends on the size of bottle that you're blending. Most of the standard sizes are 5 ml bottles, like what comes in the starter bundles. Those little ones are 5 ml bottles. They're going to hold about 80 to 90 drops. So if you mix up a blend, you want to make sure that it's going to fit in there. The bigger bottles, the 15 ml bottles, those hold about 250 drops. So you may have to do a little bit of math just to make sure that you don't overflow your bottle. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we have that's a lot of information that we've gone through here. Karan says they say Northern Lights blue spruce fins. Oh, Northern Lights black spruce fins off negative thoughts. Yeah, I believe it. It is a very high frequency oil. Michelle did post in the chat. She said, I have Newless Naturals organic castor oil wrap. I add an organic castor oil along with Young Living essential oils based on my need. This wrap has an outer layer that prevents the oils from leaching out and onto my bed sheets. It is also adjustable. So if you are very thin, pencil thin, or not so much, you can use this. Okay, so you can use it for whatever size. That's great. Yeah, if you make your own castor oil pack, you probably want to make sure you have like a towel down in case you have any leaking that comes out of your pack. So you don't want that to get onto your sheets, because the carrier oil, the castor oil, will stain the sheets. Okay, so next time when we look out for Fearless Part 3, we're going to cover more topical uses, believe it or not. We're going to cover internal use. We'll cover a little more on emotional oils and 76 quick tips for using all of your oils in your starter bundle. And then kind of like where, if you want to like dive even deeper and become more of an expert, we'll just talk about like what resources that you can have for that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing. All right, I'm gonna do our giveaways. I know normally we do that at the beginning for all the people that are on time because we like to start on time, but like it was just me and Leslie this time. Like, where is everybody? I forgot to post reminders because I was like seriously focused on getting this presentation done in time. So let's do Wheel of Names. If you ever want to do like a drawing, wheelofnames.com is so fun to do that. So let's see who all is here now. For those of you on Facebook Live, let me know that you're here because I can't tell who's still here. And I'm going to put your name into the drawing. So Leslie, I have 2 prizes here and you're going to like them. We have Michelle. So this time, because it was so long, we have to award those who stayed till the end. Cricket is here. Charlie and Deborah. Debbie. Debbie, you go by Debbie or Deborah? I think you said you go by Debbie. Forgive me if I'm making assumptions. Okay, I think Charlie is still here. It looks like Gina was on, is or maybe still on here. I'm not sure. Okay. Right, so let me go ahead and share screen here. And we'll see who gets these. First of all, I'm going to show you the 2 things. These are aromatic use. This beautiful little macrame sunflower is like a car diffuser. It's a passive diffuser. It has an unfinished wooden bead here. So you can put your oils here or anywhere on here, actually. I have a friend that does lots of macrame work and she sells it. So you just can just tie it up wherever you want. Isn't that cute? So we're going to give one of those away. She just mailed them to me from, I think she's in North Carolina now. And then this, who has one of these kind of car diffusers? It says car vent diffuser. This is from Young Living, but I don't know that they carry it anymore. These are some of my favorite. They're more passive, but because they go on your vent, you just plug it in like up on the vent and it pops open. And then you have all these colors of pads that go in them. So let me show you what it looks like. Okay. So here's like this like kind of teal color pad. You put that in there and close it. And then so it's a pretty color. And then you just put oils in there, put it on the vent, and it blows through the car. So I think those are really cool. And you don't have to ever have water or anything like that, but they're really fun. So get to have one of those. All right, so let's do our drawing to see anybody else in the Facebook didn't comment. So I don't know if they didn't make it to the end or what. All right, let's go over here to our wheel of names and click to spin. This is for this one, for the macrame. Oh, y'all are just now seeing it. Okay, I started right away. Oh, Michelle. Leslie, you almost got it. If anybody wants one of those, I'll give you her contact information. She's a precious lady. All right. So Michelle got the sunflower, and let's see who gets this car diffuser. Car vent diffuser. Karan. Okay, I'm going to repackage your package and add this to it. All right. Let's see. You are very welcome. I'm so glad that you, what did y'all learn? Let me know what you learned. What was like your favorite thing that you learned in this class? Because I know it's a lot of information, but so much fun. And you can unmute if you want. You don't have to just type in the chat. Just put them on. Yes, just put them on. Get on my body. Michelle, did you learn anything new, Michelle?
Actually, I've been using essential oils for a very long time. And yes, also I learned just put them on. Just put them on. And I was actually trying to figure out how to upload a picture of The only word that I know to use is reaction, that I had to an oil that I put on a major part of my body. And oh my Lord, it was red. It was crazy. But I knew it was because that oil was pulling junk out of me. And I just wanted to show that as an encouragement, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. But anyhow, yeah, just if you don't know where to put it on, just put it on. I love that.
Right. Very good. Yeah, because we tend to overthink things and then we just don't use our oils and they sit on the shelves.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, they're going to be good for you no matter what. Charlie said different places to put the oils. She's on the Facebook right now. And then you're welcome, Leslie. I'm so glad that you're getting to learn a lot of stuff. Cricket said waiting between layers. Some recipes, the idea to add it to the time nighttime bedtime ritual with the kids. Yes. Yeah. I like the one to wake them up in the morning. Start, put a whole bunch of peppermint in there. Feel like, right? Yeah, that'll wake them up. Charlie says I'm very new to it, learned so much. Yeah, Charlie started with the Ningxia Red and the jumpstart, the 11-day jumpstart for anybody who knows that from Martha. And then she and Cricket did that together, but same idea with the Ningxia Red. And then now they're in the Rev Up. So a lot of people are starting with just Ningxia Red, so we have to educate them on essential oils because there are essential oils in your Ningxia Red. All right, Karan, did you learn anything new? I know you know a lot. You've been around for a while.
Yeah, I like the part where you described how the soot from the candles is like carcinogens as much as a cigarette. That's like I used to be a candle junkie.
Me too.
Now I'm a diffuser junkie.
Yeah.
That was pretty shocking to realize just how damaging we are with candles. And
Yeah,
I like the soy or the beeswax idea because we lose power a lot, and it's like, what candles am I going to burn?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't turn on your diffuser if your
Have
power's
no
out.
power.
Yeah.
But all of it really is really good information. Definitely got to watch the replay to catch a few things.
Yeah. Well, that's why
The
I
recipe.
had to rank it up. Yep. Recipes. You can get the script book. All of that is in there. Sarah Harnish's script book.
Yeah, I have a couple of those.
Yeah, it's this one. It's pretty
Yeah.
thick. And then there's like a big teacher's edition.
Additional one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie agrees with you, Karan. She said it was shocking. Now she doesn't feel so bad about ditching candles now. Yeah, definitely gonna watch again. Okay, and Debbie says, same here. I was a candle junkie too. Layering was a new option for me. Yeah. So next week Michelle is going to be teaching on raindrop, and so that's why Fearless Part 3 is going to probably have to wait for a few weeks because we already have that scheduled. So she's going to teach on raindrop and the background behind raindrop, how it works and everything. And then the following Wednesday, which is Valentine's Day, I know. But that might be a nice date night. Get you a best massage table from Amazon. They're only $56 for a full massage table. It's so worth it. It saves your back and everything. And get a friend over or your husband or your kids and say, hey, we're gonna do a massage. And they'll, you might have to like switch a few if you have enough kids, they may not last through the whole class. I have to take turns or something. But put them up on the table and go through it with me. We're going to do a live demonstration. I don't know who my demo person will be yet, but I don't think I'll have a hard time finding one. Leslie, you want to fly down? I got a spare bedroom. She can be my demo person. All right. Okay, ladies. Well, thank you again for joining me. I know this was an hour and a half. It's longer than I planned. I think part 3 might be only an hour or less. We'll see.
Thank
All right.
you, Jen.
You're very welcome. Have a great night.